Hello there, beloved saints. Good morning. I told you on yesterday's Daily Dose of the Gospel that I would share a amazing Isaiah 53 level type prophecy about Jesus Christ in an apocryphal book. I think it's the Wisdom of Solomon, written almost 200 years before Jesus. And it's so specific. It's wonderful. My son found this. Said the early church considered this a really strong section of prophecy. Now I understand it's not canon, but it's pretty amazing. So uh, he's really digging in, and I'm very happy. His interest in it is phenomenal. But I'm going to read it to you, but let me just give you a little background on what the book is so that you have an idea. It was in our original King James Apocrypha section, uh, but we don't have that section in most of them today. Okay, the Wisdom of Solomon. This is taken from loandbeholdbible.com. The Wisdom of Solomon is a unique biblical book. It was one of the last books of the Old Testament to be produced, and it was the only one written in Greek. And this one says at about 50 BC. The author was probably a Greek-speaking Jew who lived in Egypt, where there was a large Jewish community at the time. The book was written in honor of King Solomon, who was famous for his great wisdom. It draws on Greek philosophy and ideas to explain that true wisdom comes only from God. The work was also designed to appeal to politicians, and so it explains the benefits of wisdom for those in authority. From the very beginning of Christianity, the second chapter of the Book of Wisdom was considered a prophecy of the death of Christ. In this passage, the writer describes how a godless group of people become the enemies of a righteous man. So let's read that section. We're going to go to Wisdom 2, 12 through 20. Okay? I will put it on screen for you. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy the transgressings of our education. He professeth to have knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. Now we know this was written before, in the first century BC, okay? He is grievous unto us, even to behold. For his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. This is a reason a lot of the Pharisees hated him. He saw right through their self-righteous facade and knew their hearts. So I told him, clean the inside of the cup, then the outside will be clean also. Because they're so obsessed with being righteous through the ordinances and hand washings and ritual cleanliness, and they're missing it. So listen to what that said again. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father. We don't know the Lord as our Father until Jesus helps us see him as our loving Father. Israel had been under the wrath and judgment curse of the law for all this time. And when we try to deal with God on our own merit, you can only get wrath because everybody falls short of God's glory. And that's why we know it was the schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, is to show us all our guilt. Because God's standards perfection in our heart, in our mind, and in action, thought, word, and deed. This is amazing. This is the last couple ones. So I'm going to read that one line again. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth I got a lisp. The end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his Father. Let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. For if the just man be the Son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. You remember he's on the cross? Well, say that he said he delighted in God, let him bring him down from the cross. Remember? Because they thought the true Messiah, the one that's real, the one of God, would never die a death like that. He'd be protected. Really? He let y'all kill all the rest of the prophets he sent to you? Why would this be any different? Weird, isn't it? All right. For if the just man be the Son of God, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. Now, look, this is the last two verses. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture. Let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death. For by his own saying he shall be respected. Right after it says, such things they did imagine, and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them. As for the mysteries of God, they knew them not. I'm sorry, I'm about to faint, because that is insane. That is so specific. He calls God his Father. He claims to be the Son of God. He's going to be tested with torture, and it'll prove his meekness and patience. And those around him will think they're examining him by putting him to the test to see if he's really of God, because if he is, God will deliver him from his enemies. And it says, but they don't have revelation. They can't understand the mysteries of God. They're blind. Wow. And I ascertained this. I said, Jim's for real? This is like BC? We know this was written and it's not interpolated? He said, no. Whoa. I thought it would bless you guys. It sure blessed me. It really did. And again, I know it's not canon, but it is in the Apocrypha section of our King James Bible. And I'm not afraid to read books. I know if it refutes a clear doctrine like salvation by grace through faith alone in Christ alone, that it's not even inspired. But my goodness, I don't know how that was not inspired. How do we know God didn't inspire that man to write that section? We don't. Well, I'll tell you what. I haven't heard anything uninspired so specific, knowing it was written prior to Jesus' coming. Amazing. Okay, guys. I will see you tomorrow morning, if not sooner. I'm so happy to be able to get back to work full time. I am working on some things to organize this. We'll have memberships, and there'll be um, videos done that can't be put public because we're so censored, and I've been kind of shadow banned for the last couple of years since the house burned down. Um, so I want to make sure I get the information out to people, the regulars that I think will benefit from it. Okay, good, 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 good. I can't wait. All right. God bless you. Bye. Have a great day.